Okay. Okay, sir. Good evening, all the August audience, and good evening, all the doctors. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the entire medical fraternity who has been constantly trying to save the human lives from the deadly pandemic. To curtail the impact of COVID-19 second wave amongst us, social distancing is one of the actions which we are strictly adhering to. Therefore, we have organized this virtual CME through the virtual mode, which will also maintain your safety while you share your in-depth knowledge and immense experience with us. I would like to thank you for accepting our invitation and to join us over here. I am sure that with your August presence and active participation during this virtual session will further augment the success of this CME. Doctor, we have always garnered the trust and warmth upon us, and we seek the same in the future as well, and especially during the period of uncertainty. Now, for the further proceeding, I would like to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Indranil Desai, to start the session. And today's topic of today's session is the role of vildagliptin in type 2 diabetes management. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mukherjee. I am very glad to be in this webinar in this situation or background of COVID-19, which has paralyzed our practical life. And we are on the virtual mode, meeting everybody. We are happy in this virtual media. So let's start. Should we?
Right, sir.
Okay. So thanks to the medical fraternity, thanks to Torrent Pharma, thanks to Mr. Arup Mukherjee and his whole team for organizing this beautiful and interactive webinar, which speaks of vildagliptin's role in the management of type 2 diabetes mellitus patients. So let's start our today's session with the first slide. Here is vildagliptin in type 2 diabetes mellitus patients, the first slide. Now let's talk something about this DPP-4 inhibitor. Vildagliptin is an oral anti-hyperglycemic agent. It is an anti-diabetic drug of the dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor class of drugs. Vilda inhibits the inactivation of GLP-1 and GIP. I will go very slowly. By DPP-4, allowing GLP-1 and GIP to potentiate the secretion of insulin in the beta cells and suppress glucagon release by the alpha cells of the islets of Langerhans in the pancreas. Let's move on to the next slide regarding the natural history of diabetes. Actually, we see there is progression from pre-diabetes to diabetes and development of further complications of diabetes, which include both micro and macrovascular complications, which sets in over a period of time. So we see a nice graph. The x-axis represents the number of years gone, and the y-axis represents development of diabetes and its complications. Pre-diabetes tends to progress to diabetes. This natural history reflects underlying loss of beta cell function, and over time, persistent hyperglycemia leads to the complications that are the major source of morbidity, mortality, and obviously cost. Discovery. Prior to the launch of dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors 10 years ago, there were no oral anti-hyperglycemic agents for the treatment of type 2 diabetes mellitus that targeted deficient glucose regulation during both hyperglycemia as well as hypoglycemia. Engineering of the DPP 728 structure by E.D. Will Howard and colleagues to attenuate the dissociation rate further led to discovery of vildagliptin in 1998. The will in By 1999, DPP 728 was evaluated in patients, which provided the first human proof of concept that a DPP-4 inhibitor could improve glycemic control in patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus. Let's talk something about history of vildagliptin, DPP-4 inhibitor serving diabetes from about past 1 decade. It is tested in many clinical conditions, patients at higher risks, including the elderly or geriatric population, those with impaired kidney function, and those on insulin treatment. Regarding approval, it is being approved in over 110 countries worldwide for use as monotherapy as well as combination therapy in type 2 diabetes mellitus. See, early intensification of diabetes management is very important, and it can be done with vildagliptin plus metformin. There is a one more beautiful graph, or whatever you say, depicting that earlier and appropriate intervention may improve patients' chances of reaching the goal. Now, what is the goal? That is, a mean HbA1c of patients should be reduced. There are two curves or lines. You can say the green line represents conventional stepwise treatment approach, like as we know, diet and exercise, then followed by oral antidiabetic monotherapy. Then if it doesn't work, oral antidiabetic up titration. Then we go for oral antidiabetic combination. Then we go for oral antidiabetic combination plus basal insulin. Then oral antidiabetics plus multiple daily insulin injections. But still the graph is in a straight line. It's not showing fluctuations. It's neither going up nor going down. But in the next curve, represented in the orange and the light blue colored line, indicates that earlier and more aggressive intervention approaches leads to lowering of the curve and also lessens the duration of diabetes. This is very important finding as well as very important graph predicting the early intensification with combination therapies. See, delay in optimizing glycemia in type 2 diabetes mellitus patients leads to irreversible macrovascular problems, which is very much seen in our Indian population. We see there are 3 trials depicting so like advanced ACCORD and VADT. Early intensification can avoid this situation by acting before advanced type 2 diabetes mellitus. Let's go for the STENO2 trial. It is time to cardiovascular events. Patients who received prior intensive treatment maintained a rate of cardiovascular events lower than that of the standard treatment group. It tallies with the other graph we have just discussed right now. See, in the conventional treatment group depicted by the violet curve, it's going up, but in the intensive treatment group depicted by the orange line or graph, it's going down. So it indicates that patients who received prior intensive treatment maintained a rate of cardiovascular events lower than that of standard treatment group. That's what is depicted in this curve. There is a proposal for merging the glucocentric and the cardiocentric view of type 2 diabetes mellitus treatment. Evidence from randomized control trials. There is the glucocentric view. It shows metformin plus vildagliptin, a DPP-4 inhibitor, prolonged time with HbA1c reduction of less than 7%. And regarding cardiocentric view, what are the cardiovascular benefits? GLP-1 mimetic GLP-1 receptor agonists and SGLT2 inhibitors can be added. Proposal for a glucocardio merged approach. Newly diagnosed drug-naive patients with low cardiovascular risk, metformin plus any other glucose-lowering drug can be added. But newly diagnosed drug-naive patients with high cardiovascular risk, metformin plus GLP-1 mimetics or SGLT2 inhibitors can be added. Multiple targeting of the etiological imbalances can be addressed, that of brain, islets, muscle, vasculature, liver, and kidneys as well. Let's go to a study design, which is called the Verify study. Glycemic durability of an early combination therapy with vildagliptin and metformin versus sequential metformin monotherapy in newly diagnosed type 2 diabetes mellitus patients. It is a 5-year multi-center randomized double-blind trial conducted in 254 centers across 34 countries. 2001 eligible participants, early combination treatment group with n number of patients of 998, or the initial metformin monotherapy group involving n number of patients of 1003 or 1003. A total of 1,598 patients constituting 79.9% completed the 5-year study, 811 constituting 81.3% in the early combination therapy group, and 787 constituting about 78.5% in the monotherapy group. Now let's see further. What is the result? Significant reduction in the relative risk for time to initial treatment failure was observed in the early combination treatment group compared with the monotherapy group over the 5-year study duration. Median observed time to treatment failure in the monotherapy group was 36.1 months, while in the combination therapy, it is estimated beyond the study duration of 61.9 months with a p-value of less than 0.0001. See, here's a beautiful graph again depicting relative risk reduction of 26%. RR for time to second treatment failure during period 2 was also significantly reduced in the combination treatment group compared with monotherapy group, with hazard ratio of 0.74 and p-value of again less than 0.0001. So what is the conclusion of this study? Long-term clinical benefits can be achieved more frequently and without tolerability issues with early combination treatment compared with standard of care monotherapy with metformin. Early combination treatment with metformin and vildagliptin improves glycemic durability in patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus compared with standard of care initial metformin monotherapy. Again, early combination treatment significantly reduced probability of initial treatment failure, time to second treatment failure, and time to treatment failure compared with monotherapy throughout the 5-year study duration. Before going to the victory study, I would like to highlight on another study. There is a data on vildagliptin and vildagliptin plus metformin combination in type 2 diabetes mellitus. management, conducted by Samvid Das, A.K. Gupta, Biplab Bandyopadhyay, B. Harish Darla, Vivek Arya, Mahesh Abhayankar, and Santosh Revankar. This data was received on February 28, 2021, revised on March of the 15th, 2021, accepted on March of 18, 2021, and published on 31st of March, 2021. What is the abstract of the study? It is of interest to evaluate the clinical effectiveness and safety of vildagliptin as monotherapy and combination therapy of vildagliptin and metformin for the management of type 2 diabetes mellitus patients in Indian settings. The study included patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus aged more than 18 years, receiving vildagliptin monotherapy and vildagliptin in combination with metformin therapy of various strengths. Data related to demographics, risk factors, medical history, glycated hemoglobin levels, and medical therapies were retrieved from medical records. Out of the 9,678 patients with a median age of 52 years, 59.1% were men. A combination of vildagliptin and metformin in a ratio of 50 to 500 milligram was the most commonly used therapy in 54.8%, and the median duration of therapy was 24 months. The predominant reason for selecting vildagliptin therapy was to improve A1C levels. A total of 87.5% of patients required dosage up titration. Vildagliptin therapy was used in patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus and associated complications like peripheral neuropathy, coronary artery disease, nephropathy, retinopathy, autonomous neuropathy, stroke, or transient ischemic attack, and peripheral artery disease. Among 5,175 patients who experienced body weight changes, a majority of patients showed a loss of weight, that is 68.6%. Beautiful data. The target glycemic control was achieved in 95.3% of patients. See, the mean A1C levels were significantly decreased post-treatment. Adverse events were reported in only 0.4% of the patients. Physicians rated the majority of patients as good to excellent on the global evaluation of efficacy and tolerability scale. Vildagliptin as monotherapy and combination therapy of vildagliptin and metformin was an effective therapy in reducing A1C, helps in achieving target glycemic control, and was tolerated in Indian patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus continuum. Also, let's talk something about the background of this study conducted. The poor glycemic control, long duration of illness, and the ethnicity of the population contribute to the increased susceptibility to diabetes associated complications. Indian individuals with type 2 diabetes mellitus are highly susceptible to the risk of developing macrovascular complications, with a 40% higher risk of mortality due to cardiovascular diseases as compared to the white population. Moreover, the prevalence of comorbidities in Indian patients with diabetes is high, along with peripheral vascular disease, hypertension, ocular diseases, and dyslipidemia as the most common comorbidities. Therefore, early diagnosis of diabetes and improved glycemic control will aid in alleviating the risk factors of these patients. The American Diabetes Association, the European Association for the Study of Diabetes, and the India-specific diabetes management guidelines recommend the use of metformin along with lifestyle changes as first-line therapy for diabetes management. targeted glycemic levels may not be achieved by metformin or other oral antidiabetic drugs monotherapy. Hence, considering diabetes as a progressive disease, combination therapies of metformin with other oral anti-diabetic drugs are recommended. Moreover, if patients fail to achieve target glycemia or glycemic levels with monotherapy, the combination therapy of metformin with other OADs and or insulin are recommended. Vildagliptin is a second generation dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor, and evidence suggests potential mechanism of synergy between metformin and vildagliptin. The clinical efficacy and safety of vildagliptin monotherapy or in combination with metformin have been demonstrated in several studies. Globally, the effectiveness, tolerability, and low discontinuation rates of vildagliptin monotherapy and combination therapy of vildagliptin and metformin are reported in several real-world studies. However, there is a need for evidence from India demonstrating the overall clinical benefits of glycemic control and weight reduction with vildagliptin monotherapy or vildagliptin and metformin combination therapy for diabetes mellitus management. Therefore, it is of interest to document the treatment pattern, clinical effectiveness, and safety profile of vildagliptin monotherapy, vildagliptin and metformin combination therapy for the management of type 2 diabetes mellitus continuum in India. What are the methods applied in this study? This retrospective, multicentric, observational, real-world study was conducted across 365 Indian healthcare centers having medical records of adult patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus who had received vildagliptin alone or as an add-on to metformin therapy. The study was conducted in accordance with the ethical principles that are consistent with the Declaration of Helsinki International Conference on Harmonization, Good Clinical Practices, and the applicable legislation on non-interventional studies. Approval of the study protocol from an independent ethics committee was obtained before the study initiation. Regarding the study population, patients of either sex aged more than 18 years and who had received vildagliptin monotherapy or fixed dose combination of vilda and metformin in immediate release technology for the treatment of type 2 diabetes mellitus were identified. The patient's treatment information was sourced from the treating physician under an agreement. Patients having incomplete data files were excluded from the study according to the investigator's discretion. Unsuitable patients or patient data were also not included in the study. What is the outcome of the study? The study outcomes included the evaluation of changes in glycated hemoglobin levels and weight changes after the treatment with vildagliptin alone or in combination with metformin therapy of various strengths. In addition, demographics of the patient receiving vildagliptin alone or in combination with metformin therapy of various strengths, duration of treatment, other OADs and or insulin, and any concomitant medication received during the study period, presence of any concurrent disease and adverse events reported within past 12 months were assessed. Statistical analysis. Data were analyzed using statistical package for the social sciences software version 23.0. Demographic characteristics were summarized with descriptive statistics including median and therapeutic median and interquartile range for continuous variables, and frequency and percentages for categorical variables. A comparison of qualitative and quantitative variables between the groups was done using the chi-square test and Mann-Whitney U test respectively. A p-value of less than 0.05 was considered statistically significant. What is the result of the study? A total of 9,678 already pronounced patients were with type 2 diabetes mellitus were included. The median age was 52, ranging from 45 to 61 years, and the majority of the patients, about 45.4%, were from the age group of more than 40 to less than or equal to 60 years. The proportion of male patients constituting 59.1% was higher than female patients constituting 40.9%. The majority of the patients were enrolled in urban and semi-urban areas, constituting 83.3% of the population. The median body mass index of the overall population was kept at 27 kg per meter square. The median duration of diabetes was 60 months. Family history of diabetes constituting 49.4% and sedentary lifestyle constituting 44% were the most common risk factors observed, followed by obesity constituting 37.6%, smoking constituting 29.6%, and emotional stress, very important, constituting 26.3%. The most commonly observed comorbidities were hypertension, constituting 68.7%, dyslipidemia, 47.1%, while peripheral neuropathy, constituting 44.6%, and coronary artery disease, constituting 30.6%, were the most common complications observed in the study patients. Now let's go directly to the conclusion of the study because it is a big study. We need a lot of time to discuss this. So what is the conclusion of this study? Vildagliptin with or without metformin was an effective therapy in reducing A1C that helped in achieving target glycemic control and was well tolerated in Indian patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus continuum. Now let's come back to the Victory study. What is the study design of the Victory study? Study title was Effectiveness of Vildagliptin in Clinical Practice. It is a pooled analysis of 3 Korean observational studies. What are the methods applied? Data was retrieved from prospective phase 4 PMS studies for Vildagliptin involving n number of patients of 3,294 and Vilda-metformin fixed drug combination with n number of patients of 726. A retrospective study of Vilda-metformin involving n number of patients of 283. The achievement rate of the glycemic target of less than or equal to 7% at 24 weeks was assessed as the primary outcome. Now let's talk about the results of this study. 58.94% patients achieved an A1C target of less than or equal to 7% at 24 weeks. Glycemic target achievement rate was significantly greater in patients with baseline A1C of less than 7.5% versus more than or equal to 7.5%. That is 84.64% versus 43.97%. Receiving care at the hospital versus clinic, it is 67.95% versus 52.33%. Receiving vildagliptin, metformin fixed drug combination versus other fixed drug combinations, that is 70.69% versus 55.42%. So conclusion is that vildagliptin plus metformin is a clinically reasonable option as a combination therapy for the patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus. Continue. There is one more study, that is the initial study. Initial study depicts vilda plus metformin in drug-naive patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus, a real-life study from Asia. So drug-naive adults, type 2 diabetes mellitus patients with A1C more than 8%, vildagliptin plus metformin initial combination therapy involving n number of patients of 532. Study visits were at baseline 12 weeks and 24 weeks. And we assess the parameters as A1C, FBG, PPVG, body weight, medication. Then adverse reactions were hypoglycemic events, serious adverse events. There is significant reduction in A1C from baseline at both 12 weeks and 24 weeks. It is being clearly depicted in this beautiful bar diagram. See, there is one more bar diagram representing two graphs, two bars, one at 12 weeks and another at 24 weeks. The y-axis represents the glycemic target achievement. At 12 weeks, it is 27%, and at 24 weeks, it is 40%. Relevant benefit population. What is the relevant benefit population? Asian population with type 2 diabetes mellitus who are associated with poor glycemic control and presence of multiple severe risk factors, especially the macrovascular complications. About 40% achieved glycemic target with zero severe adverse events, as depicted in the slide. Comparative effectiveness of dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors in type 2 diabetes, a systematic review and mixed treatment comparison. The DPP4 inhibitors, there are various ones like ELO, LINA, sexagliptin, SITA, and VILDA were compared via meta-analysis. Conclusion is that the systematic review and MTC showed similar efficacy and safety for DPP4 inhibitors as treatment for type 2 diabetes, either as monotherapy or in combination. Now, the next topic is vildagliptin, whether it is having any renal benefit. Diabetes and renal impairment. Diabetes is the major cause of end-stage renal disease in India. Approximately 20 to 40% of the patients with diabetes develop diabetic kidney disease, that is nephropathy, in India. Intensive blood glucose control early in the course of the disease exhibits a long-lasting favorable effect on the risk of DKD development. Now there is one more information: safety and efficacy of vildagliptin versus placebo in patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus and moderate or severe renal impairment. What is the aim of this study? is to assess safety or tolerability and efficacy of the DPP-4 inhibitor Vilda in 515 patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus and moderate or severe renal impairment. Target population is patient with type 2 diabetes mellitus and moderate or severe renal impairment indicated by GFR more than or equal to 30 to less than 50 or less than 30 milliliter per minute per 1.73 meter square. Primary objective is the assessment of safety and tolerability of vildagliptin 50 milligram QID in patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus and moderate or severe renal impairment. There are various bars, two bars represented in yellow color and two bars represented in the or green color. Moderate renal impairment, vildagliptin 50 milligram QID, n number of patients was 165. Moderate renal impairment, placebo QID, n number of patients involved was 129. Severe renal impairment, vildagliptin 50 QID dose involving n number of patients of 124, and severe renal impairment with placebo given to n number of patients of 97. Okay. So we see the various bars in the two parts. Vildagliptin 50 mg QID is represented by the orange bar, placebo is represented by the yellow bar, and between treatment differences is adjudicated by the stripped bars. So you can very well see what is the role of vildagliptin in this situation. Mean HbA1c change from BL to EP, between group differences in moderate renal impairment, and in the severe renal impairment, we see the bars also. Now, what are the benefits of vildagliptin in renal impairment? Safety in type 2 diabetes mellitus patients with varying degrees of renal impairment, provides effective glycemic control with efficacy as well as tolerability. There is very low risk for hypoglycemia. There is potential long-term renal benefit. It prevents degradation of the incretin hormones. Let's move on to the next slide. That is vildagliptin for elderly patients. Individualized treatment targets for elderly patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus using Vilda add-on or lone therapy. That is the interval study. So aim of the interval study is to assess the feasibility of settings and achieving individualized targets over 24 weeks, along with conventional A1C reduction using Vilda versus placebo. This is a double-blind treatment period. N number of patients involved was 434, Vilda 50 milligram once or twice daily. Here N number of patients is 137, and in the placebo group it is N number of patients, also 137. What is the result? Almost 50% of the elderly patients achieved individualized target with Vilda. Vildagliptin reduced A1C by 0.9% from a baseline of 7.9%, with a statistically significant difference compared with placebo of minus 0.6%. It is the conclusion of this bar diagram. Now let's talk something about vildagliptin and its cardiovascular benefits. Cardiovascular and heart failure safety profile of vildagliptin, a meta-analysis of 17,000 patients. Objective of this study is meta-analysis of prospective adjudicated cardiovascular events. Patient-level data were pooled from 40 double-blind randomized control phase 3 and 4 VILDA studies. Primary endpoint were considered as occurrence of major adverse CV events like MACE, myocardial infarction, stroke, and CV deaths. Regarding secondary endpoints, assessment of the individual MACE components and heart failure events requiring hospitalization or new onset were secondary endpoints. N number of patients involved were 9,599 with a VILDA dose of 50 milligram once or twice daily. N number of patients were 7,847 placebo plus active comparators. Duration of the study was 50.3 weeks. So here the p-value comes regarding MACE, composite endpoint, myocardial infarction, stroke, and CV death. This large meta-analysis indicates that VILDA is not associated with an increased risk of adjudicated MACEs relative to comparators. Moreover, this analysis did not find a significant increased risk of heart failure in vildagliptin treatment patients. Here is again a nice bar diagram depicting comparison of efficacy of gliptins. So in the vildagliptin bar, we see which is the longest bar shows better reduction of A1C compared to other DPP-4 inhibitors like elogliptin, sexagliptin, then sitagliptin, linagliptin and all. Now there is a new concept. What is the rationale of vildagliptin 100 milligram sustained release tablets in the once daily dosage form? So we can compare the twice daily regimen has difficulty with medication adherence. This is a very important aspect in our Indian population. BD regimen increased cost of therapy and increased possibility of more side effects. Once daily dose will improve the patient compliance and medication adherence, better therapeutic efficacy, and lesser side effects. Now, in continuation of the previous slide, mean comparative linear plot of vildagliptin plasma concentration in nanogram per ml versus actual time in our subject. The 90% confidence interval of the differences of least squares mean for the Allen transport pharmacokinetic parameters like AUCOT and AUCO delta of vildagliptin is within the bioequivalence acceptance limit of 80 to 125%. To achieve steady state blood level of vildagliptin that is therapeutically effective and non-toxic for extended period of time. So once a day dosing provides sustained effect over 24 hours. There is one more bar diagram. It's a comparative percentage of DPP-4 inhibition with VILDA OD and BID. The blue bars indicate the VILDA OD and the red bars indicates VILDA BID. Wherever you see, the blue bars are higher than the red bars. So indicates that 100 milligram OD dose gives better patient compliance and better therapeutic efficacy. Now let's talk something about adverse effects and drug interactions of vildagliptin before we continue with the other slides. The most common adverse effects reported in patients receiving vilda during clinical trials included headache, nasopharyngitis, cough, constipation, dizziness, and increased sweating. Hypertension was reported in 2 of the studies of patients receiving vildagliptin, although the cases were not thought to be drug-related. The definition of hypoglycemia varied among clinical trials with vilda. However, in most studies, the rate of hypoglycemia observed with vildagliptin was similar to the rate with placebo. Vildagliptin is not an inducer or an inhibitor of the CYP enzyme system. However, limited data are available regarding drug interactions with vilda. One study reported no pharmacokinetic interaction with glyburide 10 mg daily was given with vildagliptin 100 mg twice daily for 28 days. There was no effect on drug concentrations of glyburide or vildagliptin when used together or as single agents, and no hypoglycemia was reported. Another group of investigators evaluated the safety and pharmacokinetics of the combination of pioglitazone 45 mg daily and vilda 100 mg daily for 28 days. I'm searching on the various aspects. Drug concentration of pio and vilda were measured before and during combination therapy. The investigators found no significant change in the plasma concentration of either drug at any point of time, and it was determined that pio and vilda can be used together safely. There is one more aspect. Vilda has been shown to be relatively safe in clinical trials. However, long-term evaluation of safety data and clinical experience of the effects of DPP-4 inhibition are necessary. The DPP-4 enzyme is present in many tissues, and it serves as a substrate for multiple hormones and peptides in the human body. The long-term effect of DPP-4 inhibition on these substances are unknown till now. Now again, let's recapitulate the adverse effects of vildagliptin in terms of percentage. Nasopharyngitis, it is about 9%. Headache, it is about 7% experienced by the people. Dizziness, it is about 6%. Back pain, it is about 6%. And diarrhea, it is about 6%. Adverse effects observed in clinical trials include nausea, hypoglycemia, tremor, headache, and dizziness. Rare cases of hepatotoxicity have been reported. There have been case reports of pancreatitis associated with DPP-4 inhibitors. A group at UCLA reported increased precancerous pancreatic changes in rats and in human organ donors who had been treated with DPP-4 inhibitors. In response to these reports, the United States Food and Drug Administration and the European Medicines Agency each undertook independent reviews of all clinical and preclinical data related to the possible association of DPP-4 inhibitors with pancreatic cancer. In a joint letter to the New England Journal of Medicine, the agency stated that both agencies agree that assertions concerning a causal association between incretin-based drugs and pancreatitis or pancreatic cancer, as expressed recently in the scientific literature and in the media, are inconsistent with the current. Final conclusion at this time regarding such a causal relationship. Although the totality of the data that have been reviewed provides reassurance, pancreatitis will continue to be considered as a risk associated with these drugs until more data are available. Both agencies continue to investigate this safety signal. Now, as we know, when a person develops diabetes over a period of time, complication sets in, both either in the form of macrovascular or microvascular complications. As we have discussed earlier in the slides, that about 40% of the Indian population develop macrovascular complications. So what are the macro and microvascular complications of diabetes? Just let's have a brief view on it. Diabetes is a disease that is strongly associated with both micro and macrovascular complications. The microvascular complications include retinopathy, nephropathy, and neuropathy, whereas the macrovascular complications includes ischemic heart disease, peripheral vascular disease, and cerebrovascular disease. Now, in this background of COVID-19, which we are going through, this pandemic situation, one question pops up in my mind off and on. So why not throw some light on this aspect regarding, is vildagliptin effective in COVID-19 infection? Now let's talk bioinformatic approaches combining human virus protein interaction prediction and protein docking based on crystal structures have been performed. And it has been shown that although the SARS-CoV interacts with DPP4 enzyme as a co-receptor, its interaction is not as strong as its interaction with angiotensin converting enzyme 2. Furthermore, in the experimental model of human coronavirus EMC, DPP4 inhibitor did not inhibit the viral entry and viral receptor interaction was independent of peptidal activity of DPP4. Sorry, peptidase activity of DPP4. Hence, DPP4 inhibitor may not play a significant role in reducing the transmission of infection. Now let's get back to the slides again. There is a guideline recommendation of ADA 2021. There is a big chart and one red encircled or a squared area encircled with red dots indicating most likely the role of VILDA. What is the summary? Increase incretin effect, that is about VILDA I'm talking. No dose adjustment in elderly population, that is also important. Can be used in renal impairment patients, providing an advantage every market leading DPP4 inhibitor. Okay, better CV safety, neutral on body weight, minimum hypoglycemia. One more information, please, I want to share. There may be questions regarding the fact that regarding VILDA and metformin. Somebody would like to ask that whether vildagliptin should be used alone or should it be combined with metformin. Now there are two aspects. When do we use vildagliptin alone? The answer is people newly diagnosed with diabetes who do not tolerate metformin may be more likely to benefit from vildagliptin treatment. People who are younger and who are closer to diagnosis, for example, who have had diabetes for less than a year, are more likely to achieve A1C target with VILDA treatment. This is probably due to people earlier in the disease process having better pancreatic function, which enables them to increase insulin release to a greater extent in response to higher GLP-1 levels than people who have had type 2 diabetes for many years. So VILDA is the role model in this situation or in this context. Now let's talk about the rationale of combination therapy of VILDA and metformin. Because an incretin-based therapy acts by different mechanism than metformin, combination therapy with metformin and a DPP-4 inhibitor like Vilda was expected to be of considerable interest for the treatment of type 2 diabetes mellitus continua. Firstly, additive effects on plasma glucose lowering should be seen, which was first demonstrated with a combination of metformin and GLP-1 infusion in type 2 diabetes mellitus patients. Furthermore, beyond the additive effects of the drugs, the attractive potential of this combination would be to achieve the glucose lowering effect with beneficial effects on beta cell function without promoting weight gain or increasing the risk of hypoglycemia and without exacerbating the GI side effects of metformin. Let's get back to the slides again. We come to the summary. Improved and sustained pancreatic islet cell function and insulin sensitivity over a 1-year period. Long-term clinical benefits of early combination treatment with Vilda and metformin versus standard of care in newly diagnosed type 2 diabetes mellitus patients in the landmark 5-year verified trial, which we had already discussed. Not associated with an increased risk for adjudicated major adverse cardiac events, MACE, according to a meta-analysis of pooled data from 40, I think it's 40 patients, just a minute, 40 phase 3 and 4 trials, which is included high-risk patients with heart failure and those with moderate to severe renal impairment. Thank you for your patient hearing, Mr. Mukherjee.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to have you for today's CME because we regularly do this kind of virtual CME, but this kind of thorough discussion and moreover, sir, it's been observed that you are not only studied all the slides and you have prepared your own separate some means guide studies which also I believe that it is very rare because in virtual CME we have seen all the speakers usually read the slide and all this, but you have put a lot of effort and all the August audience I think has get many newer things and very vast knowledge regarding the vildagliptin, and this is simply sir what should I say, it was beyond our imagination because you have put so much of effort for this today's CME. Thank you very much because there are a lot many other things which were not available in the slides you have told us, which is also were very important for all the practitioner and all the doctors. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your very valuable inputs on this vildagliptin in type 2 diabetes management. And now we'll write to request all the August audience to share, to ask the queries to Dr. Dey directly, or you can write down the queries to the chat box. So what we will do, we will wait for the 30 seconds and then we will go for the question and answer session. Right, sir?
I will try to answer the questions to my level best. I don't know how much I will be successful.
Sir, one question has already come, but it is not. Is it showing in your system or I don't know? that what is the any relation with meal, whether taken before or after meals for vildagliptin 100 milligram OD tablets?
See, as because it is a 100 milligram OD tablet, as per my opinion, it should be taken in the morning hours, just before food, so that the optimal benefit of the 100 milligram dose of single tablet vildagliptin may be obtained.
Sir, for my
I-
knowledge, sir. Please continue, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, what I was telling that, as per my opinion, when the as usually what we see, vildagliptin, we prefer in the clinical practice or in our clinics, we prefer vildagliptin 50 with a fixed drug combination of metformin of 500, right, or 850, whatever is required. We give it in the breakup dose of 50 and 50. But when the question comes to 100 milligram OD, as per my opinion, it should be taken before breakfast, early in the morning, to get the better efficacy and tolerability and the better outcome and better management of the HbA1c targets. Is there any other opinion regarding this 100 milligram OD?
No, sir. That morning is the best.
Yeah, Mr. Mukherjee, you are not
Also,
audible. Yeah.
sir, most of your colleagues are also sharing the same, that morning is the best time to take the OD preparation.
Yeah, exactly.
And sir, one more question has come. On the day of COVID vaccination or for few days of post-COVID vaccination, vildagliptin or OAD can be continued.
See, actually, first of all, I would say something about COVID. COVID is a virus, or the SARS-CoV-2, whatever you tell, or now it's the Delta variant is coming, Delta 2 and all. Whatever it may be, the COVID infestation is specially taking up the patients or the persons who are immunocompromised. Diabetes mellitus type 2 leads to immunocompromisation provided there are fluctuations of the blood sugar. So before taking the COVID-19 vaccination, whatever it is, this Covishield or Covaxin, or very soon the Sputnik V has already come to the Indian market. I've already attended the launch meeting in India regarding Sputnik. Some Pfizer vaccines are also coming. The main aspect is that your body balance or metabolism should be correct. It should be rectified before administration of any sort of vaccines, especially the COVID-19 vaccines. If there are fluctuations of the blood sugar, if there are complications, you should wait until your metabolic state is stable, then you go for the vaccination. Or otherwise, there may be some interactions.
Right, sir.
That is my answer.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And one same question has come once again, that whether insulin OD can be taken what time? OD preparation of vildagliptin can be taken what time?
Yeah, exactly the same thing what I just said a few minutes back. As per my opinion, I will again say that as per my opinion, the morning hour is the best hour when the person remains calm and quiet and calculated from all aspects. Of course, if he gets a good night's sleep. Not that if he doesn't get a good night's sleep, you won't be able to calculate the morning hours and the whole day.
Right.
Is that vildagliptin 100 milligram once daily gives optimal performance, and the target to reduce the A1C below 7. If it is taken in the morning hours, it is very good. And obviously, just taking medication is not important. Important is SMBG. A diabetic patient should do his SMBG, that is self-monitoring of blood glucose. Self-monitoring of blood glucose gives you the adequate measurement of the drug which the person or the diabetic person takes. So regular self-monitoring of blood glucose, regular measurement of blood pressure, that is called HMBP, what we call in medical terms HMBP, home monitoring of blood pressure. So most of the time we find the combination of the diabetes and the hypertension. So a person with diabetes, whatever drug you take, you should check your vitals regularly on a regular basis, and it should be noted down either in a booklet or in a copy or in a diary. And if that person is technologically sound, he can put all this data in the Google Drive, which he can access anywhere from the world.
Right.
So this is a better option in this age of technology.
Right.
People should be, I think, before going to any medication, anything. Obviously, vildagliptin is a very good drug in the Indian setting, but people are getting macrovascular complication of around 40%. But the thing is that people should be trained how to use the drug, how to monitor your vitals, when to report to the physicians, how to know the hypoglycemia. Obviously, there is not that amount of hypoglycemia found in Vilda. It is also weight neutral, and sometimes in studies, the recent studies have found that there may be weight reduction also. So all these aspects should be taken care of, should be kept in mind, and this should be an organized approach, whatever I say. Yeah, that's my answer, Mr. Mukherjee.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, just for my knowledge, have you started using OD preparation of vildagliptin? Any OD preparation?
Now, till date, I didn't do, but very shortly, in a day or two, I will be starting Vilda OD.
Okay.
Because I've gone through the data of Vilda OD, and I'm very much enthusiastic to start
Right,
my clinic so that patients get more benefit with Vilda OD. That's because it will be dose compliant. That's because there will be less fluctuations in the blood sugar.
Right.
That's because there will be better well-being of the patients, and as because finally the A1C targets will be achieved very soon.
Very soon. Right. Thank you. So, sir, since no more question are coming, so can we, with your permission, can we close? Means with your vote, with the vote of thanks, can we close?
Yeah, sure. We should close it.
Sir, on behalf of entire Torrent Pharma, I would like to take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude to all of you. And your expertise suggestion will certainly help us, and valuable inputs, views, and shared by you in this virtual CME will definitely help us to chart our future course of action and thereby strengthen our position in diabetology segment. Special thanks to today's speaker, Dr. Indranil Desai, for taking time out from his busy schedule and give his excellent deliberation. Sir, the valuable inputs and views delivering today's meet will definitely aid us in strengthening our future course by making insulin or insulin OD the preferred choice in the diabetes management. And sir, just to share with you that we have also launched insulin OD, that is vildagliptin 100 milligram with MTX technology. And most affordable price. So with this, sir, I would like to close down the CME with your permission, sir. Sir, can we?
Yeah, I would like to grasp the insulin OD and take it directly over to my prescription for better benefits of my Indian patients, because we are Indian people, and I have to take care of the Indian perspective of diabetes and all.
Thank you,
so,
sir.
In my opinion, insulin OD and whatever BT, especially OD, I would prefer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, Farooq will go and he will inform you where the insulin ODs are available, and you can start prescribing our insulin OD from tomorrow or day after tomorrow, whatever you will prefer choice. And
sure.
Our cost is most economic, that is only 11 rupees per tablet, where the others are almost 16 to 18 rupees.
Okay, then.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And with your permission, can we close the session?
Yeah, we should close down the session, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mukherjee, and the whole team of Torrent.
Thank you,
for
sir.
organizing this very, very beautiful and interesting webinar.
Sir, we are planning to do another CME if you permit us on Vildagliptin in COVID situation.
Sure, sure. I have already talked something about this, so we can.
It's a talk on COVID, just few, and we have a beautiful slides on COVID. So what I will do, I will send you the slide to you. You just go through, and as per your time, we can do it in July or some later part of the day. It's a very good slide, sir. You can see it. It's on absolutely on COVID, Vildagliptin use in COVID.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. I would like to be associated with Torrent. I would like to be associated with more documentations coming up to enlighten myself for the service of the humanity.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, and good night, sir. Okay.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you so much.